Absolutely. I mean, yes, I agree. Fundamentally, of course, you have to deliver. We all have to deliver on our promises. I think there are different kinds of fundraising, and crowdfunding is one particular kind. It's kind of grown up to be a genre of its own. I'm interested to ask you, maybe not right now, whether you think it's running out of steam or whether it's kind of growing.
Definitely. Ask that question. What do you reckon, Tom? Do you think it's...
But before you answer me, I think that there are very different approaches, and I don't think crowdfunding is for everybody, nor is it for every project. It's not necessarily the most appropriate way to go about funding your project. It can be really stressful. It can, if you've got the all or nothing model, you might not get there in time. I mean, I've seen a lot of people completely exhausted and quite shattered after doing a crowdfunding campaign where they haven't quite reached their target, or even if they have, they might have set a target for 100,000, but really, you know, their target is really what they need is 200,000. You know, so crowdfunding is not for everyone, and I think that there are other models of finding funding partners and developing relationships with those people and understanding who your community of interest is, of course, and negotiating other ways of support, not just money, which is something that Jan and I were talking about before, but also skills and, you know, pro bono support and a whole way of packaging up your project to supporters, some who are funders and others who might be in-kind supporters, that can get you through the long journey it's going to take to finance your project. So crowdfunding is crowdfunding, and it's a particular kind of show. And then there are all sorts of other avenues, because in my game, fundraising can take years, actually, to fully fund a film. Their films are expensive and it can take a long time, and we would actually chunk down the deliverables, if you like. So it might be that you need $500,000 to make the full film, and you've got a funder who's funded you $10,000, and yes, $10,000 is not going to fund the whole film, but there are deliverables that you can still give that donor for $10,000, so that they still have something to use. They've still got a stake in the film. That, you know, you need to develop that relationship, and the outcomes can be delivered along the way. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, together we're stronger than we are apart. The idea of crowdfunding, I think it's a bit of a cliche, and it does call up things in people's mind. I think we're working with trust, and we're working to collaborate. I think they're more sophisticated ways of understanding how, in this time that we're in now, the opportunity that we have, all of us have, at various levels of funding, is to understand exactly your donor. I agree totally with Tom. It's all about the trust of relationships, it's the trust of the team, it's the trust of the community. All sounds a bit corny and cliche, and what the hell does that mean? But it really means doing the hard yards. It means coming to a room like this today, listening to a pitch, embedding yourself in a project where you might come and participate and see the project before you commit money. So you're committing your time, you're committing your interest, and collectively that builds into projects. So the thing that's a little bit different in what we do with our collective is that we seed fund projects. So instead of having 500,000 or 5 million, which, you know, our projects will have down the track, hopefully, we are interested in seed funding projects that we think will scale. So that's what makes us different. That's what makes the community different in the way we work. We're working currently into our 4th year on a 4-year philanthropy cycle with the Sydney Opera House on dance rights. Now, we came in with $70,000, 70 people. And we work together as a crew, as a team. You know, if you don't want to go into the 2nd year, you don't have to, but you might come back for the 3rd. It's all about building that, and then building the opportunity for a project that luckily Westpac is interested in. We can scale it. So that's our approach. At any level you can work. At any level, the tiniest thing, it's the vision you have. I slightly take, not issue because it's not an issue, certainly you're funding the outcome, but definitely people are interested in funding ideas if they're new and they excite them. So there is a market for people in our area in culture who really want to be part of something, we can partner with great people. We form the partnerships and, you know, really mention that word, which was dirty 4 years ago, scale. People look at us and say, what the hell do you mean? You know, I tell you what we mean. We're going to scale it and we're going to make this happen across the culture, and we're going to show people what outcome they get for their investment, and the investment comes in all shapes and forms.